Week 19 in the books. Matchup 19 in the books, I guess. We're getting close to the wire here. Some of you guys are really down to the wire. It's getting close. After this matchup, there's only two. There's 21 total matchups. We're on matchup 19. So get your shit together. Get yourself ready for the playoffs. The first matchup we're going to talk about is Jamie versus Maggie. The twins. Battle of the twins. Jamie, you lost with an average of 234. You hit 5 home runs. You allowed 6 home runs for a triple R of 0.83. Maggie, you had a 250 average with 10 home runs, 3 home runs allowed for a stellar 3.33 triple R. Final score was 462 to 499. Good job, Maggie, taking down Jamie. Your best player, James, was Nola. 7 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 walk, no home runs with 11 strikeouts for 63 points. 1 start, that's money. That's twice what you kind of want from a start. That's very good. Maggie's best player is arguably one of the best players this year in baseball, Jose Ramirez. Hit for a 347 average with 3 home runs with 65.5 points. He is on pace for a 40-40 season. 40 home runs, 40 steals. He has 37 home runs currently, 29 steals. Easy. He could do it easy. James, your worst player, was Severino. He has been kind of on and off for the second half of the season, hasn't he, Jamie? Comment below your response. Through 4 innings of work, he gave up 7 hits for 2 home runs and struck out 6 guys for a negative 3.5 points. Maggie, no one really, I would say, was your worst player. Just keep on doing it. You're looking good to make the playoffs. If you keep doing what you're doing, you don't want to lose anymore because there's someone who is coming at you quick. God, his team is ridiculous. But that's for another time. This next matchup we'll talk about is Jack versus Taylor. Jack, you scored a dismal in one way, but awesome in another. 420 points, which earned you the silver shitter, but you also scored 420. Not only is that almost your birthday, but it also is a very important number that means a lot to certain players in this league. Jack, Taylor, myself have dabbled in whatever that number represents. So good job, Jack, on scoring 420, but bad job, Jack, on scoring 420. Taylor, you scored 476.5. It was kind of a low-scoring week for some of us. Not a whole lot of people, only 2 people broke the 600 mark. So it wasn't a great week for guys. Jack, you had a 251 average, 4 home runs, 1 home run allowed for a 4 triple R. Taylor, 287 average, 9 home runs, 3 home runs allowed for a 3 triple R. Jack, best player was Bellinger for the Dodgers, 417 average. Hit 1 home run, drew 4 walks for a 57.5 points. I mean, that's not huge for a best player, but you also scored only 420 points. So that's to be expected. Taylor, your best player was Nimmo for the Mets. Definitely a potential keeper there. Before we landed on the DL, he was hitting for a 714 average. I think it was something like I can't remember what his average was. Something stupid, 10 for 14 or something like that. Hit 2 home runs for 79.5 points, and he missed out on a couple days last week because he did land on the 10-day DL. Jack, your worst player was Paxton, who, while striking out 1 guy, that being the only out he recorded for his outing, gave up 2 hits, one of which was a long ball, so that hurt for negative 13 points. But then he took a comebacker off the forearm and came out of the game, landed himself on the DL. Taylor, unfortunately, your worst player was Buster Posey. Hit a 105 average, 2 for 19 last week for 1 point. And this is painful, but he's probably going to go under the knife. If you've seen him playing, you've noticed he has just no lower body anymore. His swing is all arms, no leg kick, nothing, because he needs hip surgery. And he is probably going to have hip surgery in the next week or so, be out for 6 months. We wish him a speedy and successful recovery. Giants not looking good. And losing Posey is going to be huge. So we're kind of just trying to rebuild now, I think. So let's see what happens. We'll see. Next matchup is Max and Joby, Battle of the Brothers. Max, you came out on top with 622.5 points. You had a good week versus Joby's 596. So, Joby, you were third place in points, but you happened to be against the guy who was second place in points for the week. Max, you had a 301 average, 8 home runs hit, 3 home runs allowed for a 2.66 triple R. Joby, 304 average, 7 home runs, 3 home runs allowed for a 2.33 triple R. Max, your best player was Jacob deGrom. Holy crap, is that guy good. 2 starts, 15.2 innings pitched, gave up 12 hits, 0 home runs, and 21 strikeouts for 129.5 points. 1 complete game in there. He has just been a beast. God, is he good. Joby, your best player is Whit Merrifield. For, if you don't know who that is, it's some guy on Kansas City decided to have a good game, or a good week. 429 average, 1 home run, 4 walks for 63.5 points. Not too bad. Max, your best player is another Giant, Brandon Crawford. Your worst player, is another Giant, Brandon Crawford. 1 for 5 for a point, for a 200 average. He hit 1 walk. He hit 1 single. I'm sorry, I'm ahead of myself here. Drew no walks, half a point for the week. And Joby, your best player was Anderson, or your worst player was Anderson. 154 average, drew 1 walk for 1 point. Not very good. And finally, we'll talk about myself and Brian. Someone was listening when I said that they are running out of time to make the playoffs. That being Brian Mall. Fuck. Did you see what he did to me last week? I sure did. I'd like to say that my point production was because I was camping and I actually had no cell service. Nothing. So I couldn't check lineups, couldn't do anything. But even if I could, I still would have lost to Brian. I scored 561 points to Brian's 827, which definitely gets you the Silver Slugger for the week and the Golden Bat, because that is an astronomical amount of points. Fuck, there was nothing I'd be able to do. I could have had the best week of my life and never would have come close to that. I had a 319 average. I hit 8 home runs, and I had 5 home runs allowed for a 1.6 triple R, which isn't terrible. It's not that 2 that I always talk about, but it's not terrible. But Brian, Jesus Christ, a 355 average. He hit 19 home runs, only allowed 4 for a 4.75 triple R. Best week there has been so far, because he is trying to make the playoffs. You don't have much time, but you're doing what you need to do it. My best player was Stanton, a 346 average for 2 home runs, 4 walks, 71.5 points. Brian, I'm going to say your best player, I don't know how to pronounce his fucking name, Fultinowitz. He's a pitcher for Atlanta. Scored you 117 points through 2 outings. He was legit. And Acuna, you don't have a worse player. I'm not giving you a worse player if you score 827 points. Your second best player, Ronald Acuna for Cleveland. Talk another potential keeper here. 464 average, hit 4 home runs and 5 walks for 111.5 points. Jesus Christ. My downfall was my pitching. I used both Clevenger and Greinke twice. Their average for their 4 starts, 14.25 of a point. That might be why my team did so bad. And that's all I got for that. We're going to talk about standings again because the playoffs are coming up. For the Galactic Empire, Jack, you're in first place with a record of 10-9. Joby, second place, 10-9. Joby, the only reason you're not tied for first is because Jack has a higher point scored. That's the tiebreaker. Maggie, you're 9-10, and Brian, you're 8-11. So the way the playoffs work, it takes the 2 best records from each division. They make the playoffs and instantly make it past. We get a bye. Well, I guess not we. They get a bye to instantly make it to the semifinals. And then the next 4 teams are just the next 4 best records. And the tiebreaker for that is points scored. So this is really close here. It's close for who's going to make the playoffs and who isn't. So, Brian, you're right there on the cusp of that 6th or 5th playoff spot. Because for the other division, I lead with a record of 12-7. Max, you're 11-8, so you're fighting me for that top spot. James, you're 9-10, and Taylor, you're 7-12. So, Taylor, you're not mathematically eliminated yet, but if you don't win this week, you're definitely out of the playoffs. But Brian, depending on what Jamie and Maggie do, if you win this week, they will both lose. You're tied for that with a 9-10 record, or 9-11 record, I'm sorry, and then there's that extra 2 weeks. So shit could happen. There's a lot of shit that could happen. So Brian, you're doing a good job, and from here on out, I will also include a current, what the bracket looks like, the playoff bracket. You could access this on your phone or your computer, but this is what it looks like. As you can see, I'm in first place in my division, so I get the bye, instantly make it to the semifinals. I will play, as it stands right now, if nothing changes, the winner between Maggie and Joby will play in the semifinals. Winner of that goes to the finals. Jack, you're in first place in your division, but again, it's a toss-up. Anything could happen. So Jack, you get the bye. Jamie and Max, you play in the first round, play Jack in the semis. Winner of that goes to the finals. So there is the playoff schedule. All I can say is you want to win now. You do not want to lose at all because it is close. I mean, I'm 12-7. And Brian's 8-11, so that means, or Taylor's 7-12. So there's only a 5-game difference between the first place in the entire league and the last place team in the entire league. So it's been a close season so far. And Brian, you're only 4 games behind me, and you just kicked my ass. And I think currently you've got Max pretty good too. So you're looking all right. Your team is waking up at the right time. So long as players stay healthy, who knows what could happen. It's looking crazy. I'm excited for this playoffs. The bets are going to step it up as we get closer, I'm sure. As I said before, Joby, I'm still waiting on you, bud, to let me know when you're ready to pay up for me whooping your ass, not last week, but the week before. I want to see your kid. I want to see Sawyer. I haven't seen Sawyer yet. What's up with that? Let me know. Just keep trucking. Keep it going. It's looking good. I know it's late. It's already Friday. This probably won't be uploaded until tomorrow or Sunday. But I'm trying to keep up with it. I'm going to be better next week. And then as the playoffs come up, I'm going to be fucking on my shit. We're going to have Commish dishes. Joey's going to be in them. Taylor, Maggie, Brian. I'm going to get Jack in them. I'm going to get Jamie in them. I'm going to get everyone in the fucking dish. Feel the aggression and the hype. Yeah.
Commish dish. Out.